Tony, in the room? Tony Adler. Need you up here, Tony. Tony, are you in the office? Well, then bring up the box and all. Whatever you got left. Sir, how are you? Good. All right, team captains, be sure that if you just walked in, that you get your shirts. Pick up your team t-shirts. Your challenge coin is to my right, your left against the wall. Team captains, pick up your challenge coin today. Your t-shirts for sure. We don't want to have to put them back under the stage. So pick up your shirts, pick up your team challenge coin.
Yeah. When you get a chance, when you go back to your office, let me know what address I'm meeting you at tomorrow.
Yeah, headquarters. It's on 5th Street in San Bernardino.
And we're supposed to be there by 08, correct?
Well, it means 8:30.
Okay, so we'll be there by 8:15
I'll meet you
or something.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And perfect. Fire headquarters.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, Rick.
Hello.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 minutes before we begin this meeting, so be sure that you've picked up your shirts, you picked up your challenge coin, fill out the flyer on the table. We'll have raffles today, so if you're going to be lucky, fill out the flyer that's on the table. We're going to pull 2 $25 gift cards right over there. See the lady waving her hand? She'll collect the raffles.
You mean you're gonna rattle up on them today?
We're gonna raffle it, but the tablet, whoever the winner is, will contact them to deliver it to them at their station.
Oh, so you're gonna make a personal visit?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Tablet.
Yes.
Okay. Team captains, we're also going to raffle off a tablet. So there's a flyer on your table from National Life Group. Complete that flyer. On the wall to my left is the National Life Group representative. They'll take that flyer, and at the end of the meeting, we'll see who's lucky. Oh, they're down there in the corner. I'm sorry, there you are. Also in the room today, and I see him walking across the room, is Smitty of our sign work. So be sure that you stop by and see Smitty if you've ordered your team number or the caution runner ahead sign. Ruben, where did Rick go? Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat and we'll begin. First off, welcome here.
You don't need this part videotaped, right? Okay. And you're not going in that room anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you go. Okay, because they were going to get ready to tear it down, but I told them I think you were coming back. So they said they'd leave it alone.
Welcome to the fourth of a series of 5 meetings. There'll be one additional meeting on the 22nd of February, and then bang, the race. Without looking at the counter on the website, it's pretty easy to say the race is almost here. Planning has to go into full speed ahead for you to stay ahead of me and me to stay ahead of all the folks that I have to stay ahead of to get this pulled off. So we all work hard, we can get this done and get it done smoothly. There are many people in the room and some are giving away prizes, so I want to be sure that we get this done. LA Police Federal Credit Union is giving away an item for the team captains. Be sure you collect that item today from the Federal Police Credit Union. Wave your hand here, Credit Union. There they are right there. They're going to come up and speak in a minute, but I want you to be sure that you get your gift. They go out of their way. We try to come up with something that we think is practical, useful to you, and we hope you enjoy it. Enterprise Rent-A-Car in the room here, Mats. Be sure that you've squared away your rental vehicle. Again, very critical. No follow vehicle in this race can be so big that it goes past the limit of size of the vehicle that's in the rule book. What I'm basically telling you is use a minivan as a follow vehicle. You go outside of that to something as large as a 15-passenger van, and that's as big as it can be as a follow vehicle. Support vehicles, pretty near anything you want out there, but the follow vehicle, I suggest a minivan. Smitty's Sign Works is here. Caution runner ahead. Your reflective number for your vehicle, very critical. If you didn't get that today, be sure you order it so that you have it for the race. The follow vehicle must have a reflective number in the rear of the window that's visible. You must have a caution runner ahead sign at the back of that follow vehicle. Other than those two vehicles, or two signs, the rest of the vehicles can be marked with a mean streak if you want to use that, shoe polish if you want to use that. If money is no object, I'm sure that Smitty will be happy to make you very nice stick-on numbers that look excellent. So be sure you get that done. Mobile Radio Associates, where are you, Joyce? Joyce is here, Mobile Radio Associates. They're going to raffle off 2 $25 gift cards. So be sure that you complete the information that's there on the table. Turn that into Joyce, and we'll pull those at the end of the meeting. National Life Group, where are you here, National Life? Way back in the corner of the gym. They're going to raffle off a tablet again, only this time they're going to make a personal delivery. So if you're here from Albuquerque, they've got a long drive to go to Albuquerque to deliver this to you, but they're going to deliver the tablet. So we'll raffle that off today. Lap Rack is here in the room. If you have not computed how many flashing vests are you going to need, then be sure you stop there. If you're local, you can come back up here anytime and purchase them. If you're not local and this is a long drive for you, then I would strongly suggest that you either, one, purchase them now, you know how many you need. If you don't know that, get their information, contact them, and you're going to do this purchase via email, via credit card, via shipping. But you're going to need flashing vests. Be sure you calculate that number. The team t-shirts are here. They're behind me. The RV support. Lisa's here with her crew of RV support. Michelle is here helping me. And the rest of the rules committee is here assisting in this effort to both get you your team t-shirts. They're on the stage. Pick them up. We're trying to reduce this number to at least a reasonable minimum at the next and last meeting to hand out. And then to the 30 or 40 or so teams that are impossible to get here, we're going to deliver those shirts to you in Las Vegas Friday at 3 o'clock when we begin the process of registration. We'll bring those shirts to you there if you're listening in. Now at this point, I'm going to bring up Daniel Sains from the LA Police Federal Credit Union to speak a moment.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Daniel Sains with the LA Police Credit Union. Just have a couple of housekeeping items. Just wanted to officially announce that we are title sponsor this year. So once again, it's a privilege to work with most of you guys and be out there at the race course With that title sponsorship comes a captain's gift, as Chuck just mentioned. Please come by our table before you leave. We have a captain's gift, 1 gift per team. If we have extras, go ahead and grab one for your co-captain, but we do have to make sure each individual captain gets theirs first. It's a runner's belt. I like to just call it a new age fanny pack, but it is a runner's belt. So hopefully that's of assistance to you guys. You guys are out there practicing. I do have a couple of sponsorship checks for some folks that we've already sponsored. So I'm going to call out your team name. Please come up, grab your check before you leave today. Pasadena Police Department, Covina Police Department, LAPD West Valley, LAPD Southwest Division, LAPD Rampart, LAPD Major Crimes, LAPD Hollenbeck, and LAPD Communications. For those teams that we have not sponsored yet and you have an agency or your team is within LA County, we love to talk to you about sponsorship opportunities. So if you guys are looking for funds, I know you guys are, and your agency or your team is within LA County, you guys need help, come over and talk to us. We're always looking for ways to partner with our agencies within Los Angeles County. And with that sponsorship, you'll also get a decal. Last year we did vehicle magnets. This year we're going to do decals. I know some of our teams still have those magnets. If they work on your vehicle and they do not fall off, you can go ahead and use them. If you need a decal, we'll be probably giving you guys decals as well. They'll just stick on the windows and they're disposable. So once again, thank you. It's a pleasure for us to be here and be here at the race, and good luck to you guys.
Okay, that was a mighty short break there. I thought it would be a little longer. I want to bring up Joe Orlanis. Sorry, Joe. Butcher a name. People used to butcher my name when I worked the field, and that's the only remarkable way the police departments work. Nobody knows a person's first name. They only know your last name on a name tag. So they'd look at Foot and they'd go, Fote, Footy, million different names. Get used to it after a while. Sorry to butcher it for you there. He's going to talk about Run to Remember. That's coming up very soon. Fire away, Joe.
Thank you, Chuck. I'm here on behalf of the new race director for Run to Remember. I know I'm vertically challenged here. I'm here on behalf of the new race director for Run to Remember, Mark Kurinchik. Formerly, it was Steve Balfour. The 2 races that Steve Balfour handles is the Boston Run to Remember. That's the second biggest race in Boston, second to the full Boston Marathon. So that's a huge race on the East Coast. The pamphlets and flyers there are pretty much self-explanatory, but I just wanted to put out some details that are not on it. I'm sure everybody knows who Joe Cerrito is. He's a senior lead officer out of Olympic Division. He's actually going to run from Bakersfield for the fallen officers that died during that onion field incident, all the way to the police memorial wall at police headquarters, LAPD, to one, raise funds for kids' entry fees to run the race. 2, to fundraise for the Run to Remember Foundation. And 3, to fundraise to maintain the memorial wall at PAB. So that's most likely going to be in late February. Also to create awareness for the race. Naming off names like Officer Robert Sanchez, Motor Officer Chris Cortijo, Officer Nick Lee, Officer Spree DeShaw, SWAT Officer Randall Simmons, and Officer Landon Doris. I name those names because I'm almost 12 years on, and those LAPD officers died while I've been in this career as a police officer. And each time I get that notification on my Officer Down app, it checks me. And I'm sure everybody's kind of in tune to fitness here, but it's just a good reminder to stay fit and stay sharp, because you never know So if anybody has any questions, I'll be hanging out here after the meeting. There's also another cool component for the Run to Remember this year. There's a uniform challenge. The registration fee to run in full uniform in the full marathon is $200. But if you fundraise up to $750, that $200 goes back to you. It's to pay for the items that will be given to, I believe, the 129 officers that fell in the line of duty last year in 2017 in DC. So they'll be presented with a gift over there. So that's what's going to pay for it. And it's just a cool atmosphere. It starts at the Grove. Again, it's on April 8th. It's after Baker to Vegas. Everybody should be primed, right? Starts at the Grove, runs through Paramount Pictures, turns around there for the 10K. For the half marathon, it runs all the way to Barnesdale Art Park by Hollywood in Vermont and runs back. So I can't think of another cooler half marathon or 10K on the West Coast. So again, if anybody has any questions, I'll hang out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so much for the good news. Let's have a dose of some bad news. The Westgate Hotel is sold out. Okay? Sold out. Room block is sold out. This is a unusual choice of dates stuck to us. We have no choice in this. The LA Marathon chewed up some people and some teams. This is St. Patrick's weekend. Sorry for the people that celebrate that, but it means nothing to me. I run in a race once in a while, and that's about it on St. Patrick's Day. So between that and March Madness, more important than anything to that whole town of Las Vegas is March Madness. That's made the town tough. Well, our room block is sold out. Ruben, this is Ruben Crane right here. Raise your hand there, Ruben. He is hustling as hard as he can to find us an alternative hotel and to find some place that we can advise people to go to for a reasonable rate and try to work from that. If you waited this late, I am sorry for you because it's just gone. So that's part of the bad news.
Oh, fire away. You do it.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Manuel. I'm with National Life Group, and I just wanted to take this time first off to thank those team captains who have already worked with us. We do have some that are coming up as well. So in the past 30 days, what I did want to mention is that we've raised just between LAPD MEU, Pomona PD, and LAPD MDC, we've raised over $3,000 just within those three teams. So you can imagine how much that's going to help those teams. Along with an endless list of other teams in the past season and the ones that are coming up. So we are now taking dates for February and even March. For those of you who are interested, we have gone as far down as San Diego, and we may even go as far north as beyond Fresno. So for those of you who are interested, please come see us at our booth right at the end of the meeting, and we'd love to sit down and talk with you about setting a date for you. Thank you.
I spoke to the seminar a great deal about budgeting, money, and costs. You know by now, you've been working at this for a while, you know what it costs you to field a team out there. And anyone that wants to come and help you, oh my gosh, I tell you, go get it. Because otherwise, you're going to be reaching in your own pocket, and you know that's not a good idea. Or you're going to be standing in front of your station selling donuts for $1 a piece. They're going to be doing something to raise dollars for your team. On the written agenda, and you'll get this, is this line that says medical information. At the next and last meeting, where I expect our crowd to be the biggest, We will go into as much detail as possible about the medical situation of this race. It is an extraordinarily large portion of the race, vitally important, as you well know, over the health of all of these runners. So we'll go into those details at the next and last meeting. Reminded by my good friend John Marnell, speak about drones. And I said, okay, John, I'll remember to do that. Drones. Don't bring one out there. Don't operate one. Don't tell anybody else to operate one. They are forbidden on the race course, period. No one. No support, no staff, nobody. Helicopters and the drones are absolutely at two ends of the spectrum here, and they do not get along. And our helicopter support out there is vitally important to us, so we're going to abide by their requests and by our rules to say no drones. We sit at this very moment at 282 teams, like sitting on an ice block that's slowly melting. Will there be 282 teams at the start line? No, I know that. There's a couple of iffy ones right now that when this meeting's over, I'm going to call them and say, hey, you weren't here, which clearly tells me that you're not going to run in this race. So here's the refund schedule. It's a brutal one, but that's the way it is. So we'll get to that situation, I'm sure, for more than one or two teams, and this race will shrink. Due dates. Today's the 25th. Tomorrow is the deadline for what would apparently be somewheres around 40-ish? 40 or so teams that have not turned in a communications form. I will get that information late today from Jeff. This is Jeff Lee here, the coordinator of the frequencies. I will get that information from him, who is on this list. And then I'm going to send you and the co-captain as direct an email as I can put together that says, where is your form, and get it in right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Sit down, go on the link, put in everything that you know. If you're not going to use any radio communications whatsoever, then tell us so. You can do that. Scott right here is a prime example, does exactly that. And runs in this race successfully. His personnel are in the right place because they're afraid of Scott. They know that if they screw up, they're going to be working out in Mongolia on a motorcycle. So they are on their time, they're where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be there. So radio communications is not necessary. If it is necessary for you, then be sure you do this. I've sent you the recommended vendors for radios. Use them. There's a vendor in here today for radios. Use them. Get yourself communicated. Friday, Tony's task will be to call the last remaining few that haven't responded to anything. Text, phone call, emails, nothing. In which case I tell Tony, don't bother trying to call the guy. You call who he works for. Who's your captain? Who's your commander? Who's your chief of police? Because that's who we're going to contact to say, you have not done something you're supposed to do. Chief, will you take care of this problem? Because it is a problem. That's the last resort. Saturday morning, when I get this report, then I'm going to notify the rules chairman that these following teams failed to do this on time. Therefore, assign that penalty to these following teams. And you'll get a penalty before the race ever starts. Don't want to come to that, folks, but it is vitally important that you obey that deadline. The next deadline, your category, February 1st. February 2nd or 3rd, I will contact the vendor for the mugs and the plaques to say, this is what we need. This many plaques, this many mugs, these categories. So take a look at those categories. If your desire is to win a mug, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you in this room, then you've already done your homework. You've looked at the categories. You've figured out where you have your best chance, and you're entering that category. Fine. Fill out the form, send it to me, we'll put it on. Important, folks, the one form that's on the website, which is the form status list. Let me go over those abbreviations of each of those things, each of those columns, so you can figure out what they mean. TS, team shirts. You should have picked them up today, and believe it or not, I still have two or three teams that have never completed it. So when these are all done, and whatever is left, that's what they're going to get. They like XXX, and I get 25 of them, or 25 extra small. Whatever that's going to be left, that's what they're going to get if you don't tell us in advance. That's what that stands for. TV, team volunteer. Is there an X in that column? Team came up to me and said, they sent it to me in October, but it's not marked off with an X. I said, send it again. If you sent it to me in October, I can't remember October. I probably lost it. If it's not in there, it's not in there. So send it to me again. If I send it back to you, it's because the form came in blank. I can't explain all of the what happens in those things, but it comes in blank. Do it again. It'll be marked off with an X when I have your volunteer. TV meaning volunteer. Your category is written right on that form. It'll say open, station, invitational, what have you. It's on this form status list. Communications is CO, and that's only going to matter between now, tomorrow, and Saturday morning. And I'll be looking for those that aren't filled out. Estimated time, you will not find that on there right now. I didn't put it in there. A lot of you have given me your estimated times. I'm just gathering the information. If you know what your estimated time is, go ahead and send it to me. If it's extraordinarily fast, then I want to know why. If it's extraordinarily slow, well, you may not have to tell me that. I understand that. If your change is great between what you did last year and what you anticipate for this year, I want to know that. RR, runner registration. It means that I've sent you a password to go into the runner registration link. On the website, it says runner registration. Click on it, it takes you to a link. Look at that link, put in your team number, put in your password. It's now taken you to a place where you can type all of your runners in the order in which they're going to run. I look for a small R in that box because it tells me you've opened it and you know what you're doing. You might be dangerous, but you do know what you're doing. If there's nothing there, you haven't opened it. If there's an X in that box, that means you've opened it, completed it, all 20 runners are there. Whether you have one alternate or 10 alternates, doesn't matter to me. It only matters to you. But you've completed it, we're in good shape. Nothing, and I'll let that go by for a while before I contact you and say, why haven't you at least put in your name? You know your name, you know your team name, put that information in. And if you know you're gonna run a leg in the race, you're the team captain, you get the choice. Where do you want to run? You want to run 14? Go right ahead. You want to run 1? That's your choice too. But put yourself in there. If you're going to run in this race, at least you know that. You have until Monday, the Monday before the race at 10 a.m. LA time, to make up your mind the order in which those runners are going to run. I then turn that system off and print it. Between Monday and Friday, 1%, 5% changes. Okay, I got that. It happens. I'm still going to give you what you gave me at 10 o'clock. You go ahead and make the changes on the run plan yourself and operate from there. Questions came up of construction on Highway 160 and the distances of stage 16 and 17. They will revert back to the distances they were before. There is no construction on the roadway planned for between now and the race. There will be after that, but between now and the race, no construction. Hooray. I did find out yesterday, though I'm not sure where exactly, that a cattle crossing has been asphalted over. Now, whether that was on purpose, whether that was accidental, animals don't care. And right now the runners aren't going to care, because if it's asphalted over, you can run over it. And that's going to be important to know. So I'm going to make a visual. I'm going to see it for myself. I'm going there on the 8th of February to sign and get rid of all of our permit requests and get that all squared away. We're going to take a look to see exactly where that is so that I can report back to you. But there is no construction, so we're going to run as we have in the past. Stage 17, that was a focal point of the construction last year, is now done and is in actually excellent shape. As an exchange point, it's going to be one of our better ones, so that part's good. Stage 16, as I was explaining to the folks in the seminar, stage 16 remains a very small, very difficult, challenging location. In every aspect of the way, it's challenging. For the people that have to work there, for you that has to try to figure out how are you going to get runner 16 to that location, pick up runner 15, and have no other responsibilities. Because that vehicle picking up 15, dropping off 16, will never make it to stage 17 before the runner does. So you just have to take that idea right out of your head. They won't make it. At the check-in in Las Vegas, when you turn in your waiver, your release waiver, we will give you your run plan and I will give you a placard. The placard I'm going to give you is for one vehicle to park at stage 16, one vehicle only. So plan on that. It's a slow process, dusty, dark, cold. You're at the top of Mountain Springs Pass. It's the coldest place on the race course, and you're there at the coldest time of day, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Cuts down on the conversation. There aren't many people lollygagging around when it's that cold. So plan on that. I sent you the information, again, going back to radios for a moment. I sent you the information of the companies that we prefer to use for rental of radio. So be sure they're in the minutes. I mentioned it to you already, but look at those and be sure you get that done. Vendor operation. Ruben, where'd he go? I'm looking at the number of vendors at the hotel. Ruben Crane, who was sitting here a moment ago, the general manager, handles that responsibility of the vendors show there in Las Vegas. So if you have somebody, if it's a recruitment drive, if it's a whatever the case may be, then go ahead and contact Ruben. He's in the minutes, and he will get back to you and give you the information on what's possible. Is there any space left, Ruben? Vendors. There's some space left on vendors, okay. So be sure you do that if that's something that interests you. As I explained to the folks in the seminar, the Los Angeles Police Revolver and Athletic Club, this host organization, is a 501c4 organization. 501c4 means they're a private club, nonprofit. but not a charity. When you go to people that are interested in helping you, almost the first question out of their mouth is, why are you doing this? Is this a charity run? And you say, no, but we're the charity here. Can you help us? Then they'll ask you, what is the IRS status of this organization? 501c4. The Revolver Club has a tax ID number attached to that status, which means that your organizations that want to help you can do so in an advertising point of view. They can advertise, you can advertise. Your shirts can say whatever organization you want it to say. You can put that on your vehicles, any place you want to, any method you want to, if that's going to help you get your dollars for your budgeting. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, the Glendale Police Department have volunteered, and I certainly want to thank them for bringing over their follow vehicle. They're going to bring it over here to demonstrate to the new team captain seminar what a follow vehicle looks like. Might sound kind of self-explanatory, and for many of you in here that use that same follow vehicle every year, okay, you don't need to do this. But for those that haven't seen one before, 2 o'clock, we're going to show that out on the track. I advise you come out and take a look at it. Help you to get a mind's eye of what works and what works well. New teams, I will go over that list. I will send it directly from me to you, that we will inspect your follow vehicle at the Westgate Hotel. There's a small parking lot in front of the convention center right off of Paradise, and that's where we'll do that inspection. 4 p.m. to 5:30, 90 minutes only. We'll do that inspection of those brand new teams' follow vehicles. Everyone else in here, we're going to expect that you have self-checked your own follow vehicle. Checklist is on the website. Be sure that you've gone through your equipment and that everything works. FRS radios are no good if you've left them in that trunk, in that suitcase, for a whole year with the batteries in them. Now the batteries are corroded and that doesn't work, and your FRS radio won't work. All teams will have an FRS radio in the follow vehicle. If you brought it with you today and didn't get it inspected, Jeff is right here. He will inspect your FRS radio and let you know what channel to put it on and what transponder to put it on, 318. Check to make sure that works. It is the communication between the officials on the race course and your follow vehicle. But most importantly, it's between follow vehicles that this communication system works. One follow vehicle to the other, about passing, about getting past, about moving over, paying attention. You'll hear me on the race course going from me to the follow vehicle when you've done something wrong. And if FRS doesn't work, I roll down the window and yell at you. That usually works. So, but I don't want to be yelling all night long, and I really don't even want to be on the FRS radio all night long. If I do that, make sure that no one gets hurt. Now let me do a little better explanation of estimated time. I had Tony read this yesterday, and he kind of looked at puzzled and a little confused and didn't quite understand what I meant when I said it. So if I confuse you, raise your hand and we'll go over to a little more detail. In order for you to know the ability of your team, you got to test your 20 runners. You do. If you know everybody is a 10-minute miler, no, you don't need to test them. If you're all 10-minute milers, everybody, you're going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're going to slow trug your way through the whole race course. And when it comes to the uphills, they'll probably walk. Okay, I got that. But if you tell me your team is a 20-hour team and I start you at 8 o'clock, but you are a 18-hour team, then you are going to cause nothing but headaches. plus a real big rump chewing when the race is over and I chew you out for either being purposely stupid or accidentally stupid, whichever it is, not knowing how good your team is. Because if you are, put you at 8 o'clock and you run 18 hours, you're running too fast. Now I have to stop you multiple times on the race course because the exchange point is not ready for you. Now I stop you and make your runner wait. And I tell your outgoing runner, go back to the car and sit there for 30 minutes. Come back in 30 minutes and we'll start you again. 2 stages, 3 stages later, do it again. Well, that's a pain to do, folks. So be sure that your estimation is done as well as you can. Test your runners. I don't care if you just run them around the station a couple of times. At least that tells you they can run. Because if you're just taking somebody's word for it, you're going to end up being wrong. To run all of your runners in any kind of a race, 5K, 10K, 8K, whatever it might be, you will then determine what they can run per mile. And by knowing what they can run per mile, you average all 20 runners. What is the minutes per mile of 20 runners at a course in Glendale or a course in Orange County? What did 20 runners do? Once you have that average, you go to the 20th stage of the race of last year. Add 20 seconds a mile to your average. So if you've got a really good team and they average 7:20 a mile on a 5K in Garden Grove, if you add 20 seconds a mile to that, then look at stage 20. What does 7:45 a mile do? What's the estimated time? It's right there. It'll tell you 17 hours, 5 minutes, 16 hours, 55 minutes. Now you've got a pretty good estimation. Submit that. And then I'll be able to determine what's the best situation for you. Estimated time is due to me on the 26th of February. Literally about 3 weeks before the race, before I'll know all of the estimated times. It takes me the better part of a day to sit down, go through all of that information, and determine when do people start. The 2 ends of the race are the easiest. You run 21 hours, you're starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. You run 14 hours and 45 minutes, you're starting at 4 in the afternoon. Those are the 2 extremes that are the easiest. And no matter your category, you're going to start at that time. For everyone else, the best that is humanly possible, we will put categories at the same start time. So if you're trying to race for a mug, you'll be in a category where you know you've got a chance. So you'll be racing against everybody else in that same category at the same starting time. Gives you a shot at it. That's how that works. But again, you got to give me a pretty good estimation. Last year, there were some extremely good ones, seconds apart, minutes apart. Then there's some terrible ones, hours apart. Anyone that submits a time to me of 14 hours and 30 minutes and is new to this race, then I'm going to say to you, okay, you send me those 20 runners, where did they run, and send me their times. I believe you, but I don't trust you. And I have to have complete trust, because it's one thing to stop a team that is running fast and started at an early time, but there's nothing I can do. If you start at 3 in the afternoon, tell me you are going to run 16 hours and you run 19 hours. All I can do for you is put a fork in you around stage 15 and say you're done. You're over the time limit. You're never going to make it. And you don't want to be in that position. So estimated time, very important to do. Do it right. Take your time at it. Give me an accurate time. We'll get your start times to you. We call them probationary officers, brand new officers, recruits, what have you, as a title. You know the cutoff for the race was the 1st of January. If employees come out, if recruits out of LAPD come out of our academy, get assigned to Southwest Division tomorrow, next week, next graduation, they are eligible to run. And I'm sure good team captains out of divisions around LAPD take a look at who can run in those academy classes, figure that out, put their best shot in to get that individual, and when they do, they've got a 14 runner. They give somebody brand new a leg 14. Nobody else wants to do that. And they're not going to say no. So you're eligible to use them, whether it's our academy, the sheriff's, highway patrol, wherever. If they come out of academy, go to your department, they're eligible to run for you. Eligibility of runners is always a sometimes difficult question. Other times it's relatively easy. Really depends the most on what category are you going to choose to run in this race. And where we're the most particular is the station category. Station invitational. Those two categories. Very important that when you choose to use one of those two categories, those persons are assigned to your station. That's where it's important. And they're not somebody that moves around. They're not somebody that is temporary. They're not somebody that's on loan. They're at your station. Long time ago, I gave up collecting the station rosters. Became too big a book and we just didn't use it. So the trust is on you. But believe me, if you finish second to last in this race, nobody's going to question who your 20 runners are. I just feel sorry for you. If you're competing in a category and you lose to somebody by 15 seconds, there's always a lawyer on your team that goes, okay, let's look at these 20 runners. Are they all working Lakewood? Are they all working Rampart? Let me call Rampart Division's personnel officer and find out. Are they all assigned there? So they're going to look for you. You can't sneak past this. You just can't. So don't try. We will get runners running without a team. No matter how hard we try, no matter how hard you try, that happens. We also get dogfights over who this person runs for. Commanders, chiefs can run for any of their divisions, any of their teams under their control. So sometimes we get a little dogfight over that. That does happen. We get a little bit of resistance of the elite teams. I can't help that either. That does happen. Happens with the Highway Patrol, happens with the LA County Sheriffs, surely happens on LAPD. But that's a decision made a long time ago and you just have to adjust to it. Retired members, like me, like a lot of you in here, yes, you can still run. I'm probably, maybe not quite the youngest guy on the retired team, and I'm surely edging out some of the other guys because I've hit 70. And so on my team of retired, we're just happy to be out there. And right, Jackie? So retireds can run, reserves can run. We've gone over this many times now. We consider them as non-sworn, but reserves can run. Civilian employees, as long as they're full-time, and we've gone this battle several times over a 20-hour-a-week person, a 35-hour-a-week person, 40 hours a week, full-time employee, are eligible to run for you in the non-sworn categories. The running baton and your bib numbers. On the running baton, I will place the name of those that are end of watch from last year's event to now. You submit to me that person's name, their serial number, employee number, call sign if you'd like, and it will appear on the baton. No photographs will appear in the baton, but their name and the number in a column of Into Watch will. On your bib number, I have been collecting slowly here over the past month or so photographs sent to me by you as teams for placement on your bib numbers. Michelle, been volunteering for me now in the last several months, has found a person who can do a very good job with Photoshop. So when you send me the photograph and it's in poor condition, then I'm going to send it to this individual and they're going to try to clean it up, put the person's name on the photograph, put a flag in the background, and that will go on your bib number. If you have two, and that does happen once in a while, two officers, and you try to send me two separate JPEG files, I can't work with that. Now, whether my Photoshop guy can or not, I don't know. So that's a challenge to do that. But we will place that photograph on your bib numbers if that's what you want to have done. But you must send me the photograph as a separate attached file to an email. If the photograph is embedded in the email, I can't work with that. Sorry. So I'm going to send it back to you and say, I can't work with this. Send me a separate attached JPEG file, and we'll do this. One last step, and that is information I've sent to you for the awards ceremony presentation. There will be a slideshow, a PowerPoint presentation at the beginning of the award ceremony with that person's photograph, their name, Ruben, their name as well will be announced, and that will be at the very beginning of the award ceremony. It will be attached again to these set of emails that tells you, fill this, complete this form out. It will go directly to Ruben Crane, who will handle that responsibility at the award ceremony. So 3 different levels of recognition of someone that's passed away in the last year. Again, the assignment of your volunteers, either most likely Saturday, I will probably go through and see how many of our returning officers in charge I have. How many I do not have. If I don't have yours and yours was a OIC, then I'm going to contact you and say, hey, is this person coming back? And I'll probably get an answer like, well, yeah, sure, they're coming back. Well, listen, the gift of a crystal ball I don't have, so I don't know this. You must turn in your volunteer form, even if it's the same person with all of the same information of last year. I need to have that. The OICs, the persons who drove the light towers, the first 2 groups of volunteers I'm going to go through to see if I have all of them returning from last year, so that I can contact them and get them on board with information they need to know. Then I will go in inverse order in which you paid your entry fee, making the assignments of the volunteers. And as I explained to this seminar folks, those that work the beginning of the race course work a 10-hour day, without travel included, a 10-hour day. Include travel out there and back, you're looking at a 12-hour day, 13-hour day. It's a long one in the hot sun. The alternative to this is work a shorter day and you work morning watch, midnight to 6, 11 to 5, something in this kind of a time frame. Colder, pitch dark. No Starbucks to go get a cup of coffee. No timeouts. Just a lot of lost people asking you a lot of lost questions. There are 2 VIP events. Friday evening, what time, Ruben? 7 p.m., Westgate Hotel. Your chief, your agent in charge, your sheriff will get an invitation directly from the Revolver Club to them. The address that you gave us, the name that you gave us, it will go directly to them, inviting them to this particular event if they're in town, if they're in Las Vegas, to meet with each other, chat about the race, hopefully talk about how they're going to run stage 20. On Sunday at 3, there's an additional VIP mixer for your chief, sheriff, agent in charge, our sponsors, all of that, saying thanks. They're at the hotel. And again, the invitation will be to both of those events. Be sure that you have sent me the proper name of the person to be invited. And again, this is for sheriffs, this is for chiefs of police, agents in charge, however you call your chief of your agency, whatever that title is. Those are the persons that will be invited. The captain of your station, sorry, they're not on that invitation list. So again, this will go out directly. So be sure I have it right. I mentioned in the meeting about the form status list because what's on the computer, what's on the website right now is about a week old and no good. We will try the best that we humanly can to make sure that that form status list is put out daily. Look at the date at the top left-hand corner of the form. When you see that the date is more than a few days old, then the information is no good. If it's only a day old, then it's probably okay. We'll try to do the best that we can to keep that thing up to date as much as we can humanly do that. Sheriffs, I don't think Dan is in here. Dan Whitten in here? No Dan. When's the next sheriff mug run? Anybody know? This coming Saturday? Where at? CJ? Okay, so Central Jail, LA Sheriffs will have their mug run this coming Saturday. They'll have all the prisoners out, lining the course. Cheering for all those deputies running by. Additional to this, and I picked up the flyer because I just reminded myself that on February the 24th is a law enforcement run in Palm Springs. Now, Men's Central Jail I could probably get to in about a half an hour. Palm Springs would take me quite a drive. Years ago, I would have gone out there, many years ago. I've gone out there to try to win the money because they're going to give away money to the first law enforcement, male and female, pick up like $500. Okay, I'll go drive out there for $500. But today, I don't think I can make that kind of an effort to win, first of all, and it'd be quite a drive. But if you're in that neighborhood, you go support that event. If you have other events in the short period of time that we have left, notify me, I'll send it out. Send it out because it's a good opportunity for you to find out what they can really do and not just tell you. Next meeting, last meeting, February the 22nd. So put the crunch on yourself to get your homework done. I'm trying to do the same with mine. So let's get this all done. One last thing before I end it. Been working with Smitty and working to, and I got to get this, I got to get the framework to you, Smitty. Don't leave here without me getting that to you. We're going to have a nice, brand new, come on up with your, if you've got your raffle stuff ready. Everybody filled out their raffle cards. We're going to pull some winners here. Your card's not in, no winner. Smitty and I are working together to come up with what we think will be a really dynamite looking banner. And we're going to have some brand new banners at all the stages. So as you drive by, you'll be able to say, yep, that's stage 5, all right. There's a big brand new banner saying stage 5. Should look pretty good. Oh, yeah. While we're waiting to see who our winner is, Ruben reminds me, Boca de Beppo. I haven't been in one in a while, but they're on the website. They're a sponsor. They're put together a pretty good package for your team to eat there in Las Vegas. Take a look at it, see if it works for you. As soon as I know information about the Hotel Crunch and where we can go and what we can do, it'll come out in an email blast to you. It'll be on the website. It'll say, this is the best we can do in a short time frame left. Joyce, have you got yours? Okay, this is for the tablet. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, the winner. All right, Sean. Oh God, I picked up a name I can't pronounce. Sorry, Sean. Fainif. Winner. I hope you know, I hope you got kids and they can give that tablet to them and they'll play with it. Joyce, you ready? We have 2 $25 gift certificates from Mobile Radio Associates. Which one want me to pull from?
Well, we'll pull this one first, and then we'll do the other one.
All right. Okay, here's our first winner. All right, Chuck Schuyler. Schuyler? There we are. All right, Chuck. CDCR Tehachapi. Well, there's a place right across the street.
Which one?
All right, here's our other winner. Boy, they just keep getting tougher. Daryl Schwendel? All right, Daryl. Sorry to butcher your name like that. From Madeira, another place right across the street. We got 2 long-distance travelers. When folks ask me, why do teams do this? Why do they run? Is there something about this? Is it a charity? Is there something attached? And I said, no, there's no charity, and I can't explain to you why they do this. It costs them a lot of money. Some of you in here spend $10,000 easily. But the why you do that, I'm not always positive. But I am impressed and very thankful that folks come here from as far away as Madeira or El Paso, Texas, or Detroit. And I know Detroit's listening. And Chief James Craig, who has wanted to have this team in this race for some time now, has mustered the effort to get a police department that probably, they know where Las Vegas is. Everybody knows where Las Vegas is. But if you said to them, where's Baker? They couldn't find Baker if you gave them a geography test. But they're going to find out, and they're going to see what the desert looks like. Doesn't look like that ice and snow out of Detroit. So people come here from a long ways away, put out a lot of effort, and successfully do this when you put the time into it to coordinate your team. Coordinate your team. They may never say thanks to you. That is just the way law enforcement is. They may never say thanks. I will say thanks. Because when you come out there well coordinated, then you never present a problem. Smoothly through the race, never a problem. Those very, very fast teams will start at 4 o'clock and they'll make their way through 2/3 of the teams. And they'll do it smoothly and quickly and efficiently without a problem. And that is because everyone's worked hard at this. Everybody. You, me, volunteers, everybody. So thanks for that, and we'll see you at the next meeting.